Okay, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Money Mantra. And this is where I teach Forex education videos and to help everybody become independent and profitable traders. On today's Forex lesson, we're going to be talking about, we're actually going to be looking up a live trade idea for Euro USD. And I'm also going to be showing you guys how to look at the bigger picture, which is going to help you with your entries. Because we literally just came off of a HFX session that was great, but HFX is quick. You have to look at the market in 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, and in very rare cases, 15-minute increments. But when you go to Forex, you transition to 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour. So sometimes we're still thinking in that fast-paced mindset. We're still analyzing and looking at the market the same way, where we actually need to be able to see it with fresh eyes so we can recognize better, is this a pullback? Is this a reversal? Am I finding the best possible entry? Should I be executing this at market execution, or should I be setting a pending order? So that's something we're going to look at today. Because I know I have definitely got caught in the middle so many times where it looks like a great idea for a sell, but it actually was just a pullback and a buying trend. And I hate that. I don't like losing. I know it's a part of the game, but who cares? I don't want to hear that. So this is Euro USD. The website that we're going to be using to analyze this is TradingView. TradingView is free and is very, very, very helpful. It has just about every indicator and tool that you can think of to help you really look at these charts and to mark it up in a way that makes sense to you. Now, you're going to notice that my chart looks very similar to my pocket option chart because this is how I understand the market. Just because I'm changing my style of trading, that doesn't mean I'm going to change everything about it. It's just like if you have your regular car, you drive your regular car, but if you go on vacation, you're going to get a rental car. You still know how to drive, right? You're not going to start doing donuts and willies and acting stupid just because it's a rental car, right? You're going to apply what you know about driving and you're going to apply that to the rental. And that's the same way it is when it comes to HFX and Forex. You just apply what you know. So my charts look the same. So pretty much, if I was to be looking at Euro USD for a trade idea for the week, this is really how I start, y'all. I always start by looking at my chart on the weekly. And as y'all can see, I have all these previous lines here. Now, when I'm teaching y'all, I like to change my lines to different colors just so I can it can make more sense. But because this is my chart, everything is black. But all you guys really need to know is that anytime the candles are essentially between two lines, I'm using my bottom line as support and I'm using my top line as resistance. So if I was to come in here, right, and let's just say I only saw this part of the chart, right? If I only saw this part of the chart, it would look to me, right, as if Euro USD for the week was on an uptrend. Right? If you guys can see that just based on the shape, based on all these green candles, based on my stochastic facing up my MOM, if this looks like a buy-in market for the week, just drop some sevens in the chat, right? Because it looks pretty obvious. It looks like, okay, I'm going to wait for my market to retest where this red line was, and then I'm going to get in for a buy, right? But when we pull back, right, and we look at the market on a bigger picture, and you guys can see all I did was zoom out. What we can see is that this market has actually, and this is the weekly, this market has been on a selling trend for some time, right? Exactly. This market has been on a selling trend for some time. So the fact that it's coming back up, it looks like it's starting to actually resist off of that purple EMA, right? And the purple, whenever it's resisting off of the purple EMA, that's the 200 EMA, right? That means that this trend is actually down. Now, if we were to only look at what we can see, because when I do educate, I do say trade what you can see, but sometimes you need a little bit more insight. So I could have gotten right here for a buy, right? If I was zoomed in, I would have said, okay, it's going to retest here and then go back up. But looking at this on the weekly, this was so many weeks ago. This was literally 2022 that the last time the market actually reached this high over here that it will be trying to break. So am I really going to rely on this market breaking a high from what's this, summer 2022? Or am I going to look at my purple line as an area of resistance, right? Because this is going to help you too, Keisha, just thinking about it in Forex. Look at it the same way. Once we see the candles have crossed under both EMAs, like here, it's going to be a downtrend. Once it has crossed above both EMAs, it's going to be an uptrend. And so far, this market has not crossed above that. So that's just helping me look at the bigger picture. So, I mean, I could take all these lines off. It's whatever. Now, if I was to look at this on a weekly, what I would do is what I always do. I would set up my support and resistance. Yes, I'm going to put a line here, but I know price hasn't been to $1.15 in literally since February 2022. Come on now. Is it really about to do that? And then wherever I see my wicks, that's where I'm going to put my support line. So I see wicks there. Then I also see wicks here. But it's like, when was the last time that the market was actually 95 cents? And that was in September 2022. So it's highly unlikely. So in this case, it's like, okay, I'm stuck in limbo. Do I buy because it looks like it's on a buying trend, or do I sell because it's at an area of resistance? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at it on a smaller time frame, right? I'm going to look at it on a 4-hour. And you'll notice once I go down to my 4-hour, that's when my session breaks start to appear. So my session breaks tell me which session I'm in. It tells me what was the high. So a session just means it's between two lines. So if we were to look between these two lines here, we can see that this was the high for the session and this was the low for the session. We can see that this was the high for this session, this was the low for this session. This was the high, this was the low, and so on and so forth. Now, if a market is on an uptrend, right, then every session, the highs are going to get higher and higher. So let's look here. The market was on an uptrend from here to there. We see that this was the high for this session. This was the low. How do we know the market's on an uptrend? One, it's above the purple EMA. That's the 200 EMA. If price is trending higher for the last 200 candles, that's a strong trend. How do we know? The second thing is the MOM is facing up. And y'all know once it crosses above, that's going to let us know this is a buying trend for sure. And then we also have the blue above the orange, letting us know the buyers were in control, and the stochastic facing up. So all these things tell us or confirm that this is an uptrend. So again, this is the high for this session. This is the low. Because we have confirmed that the market is on an uptrend, the high for the next session must be higher than the high for the previous session, just because it's an uptrend. And then what does that mean? It means that the high for the next session must be higher than this high, and so on and so forth. If this is making sense, y'all, drop some sevens in the chat. And why session breaks are important, right? So again, uptrend. It's still on the uptrend. Why? Because the high of the new session is breaking the high of the previous session, right? This is how we can confirm our trend and to let us know if this is a simple retest or if the market is going to continue to go high. So now, if the market hits a cap, right? If it was going to continue to be an uptrend in this session, the high should have been up here, right? However, it looks like the market is starting to turn around, right? And we can confirm that the market turned around because we have liquidity. Remember, 1, 2, 3 rejections, right? That confirms that this is a liquid setup. What else do we have? We have our MOM facing down, confirming that the momentum is with the sellers and is going to go down. We have the orange over the blue, telling us that the sellers are leading, and this is also facing down. So this confirms that the market has turned around. But now we need to know, is this a pullback, right? Is this a genuine pullback down to the support? Or is this a reversal, right? A pullback is this, right? The market's going up, it has a pullback to the EMA. Market's going up, it has a pullback to the EMA. And it keeps doing that. And in case you guys haven't noticed, you can always use your EMAs as support. or resistance based on where the market is. Now, based on what we see here, right? And we see that higher highs are no longer being created. We would assume that the market is now on a downtrend, right? If you would assume that the market is now on a downtrend because the highs are no longer being broken, drop a 7 in the chat. Okay, got some 7s, lower highs, lower highs. Okay, but we could be right, Kayla, but we could also be wrong, because remember, if we zoom out, what do we notice? Right? If we zoom out, we notice that the market is on an overall uptrend. So it's actually not selling. Not yet. It's actually pulling back. And we know that if it pulls back even further, it's going to pull back here. But let's just keep going down on a smaller time frame so we can really find a great entry. So let's go back to the weekly to see what we assessed, because I honestly forgot. So in the weekly, we see it's in the middle. We don't really have, well, I could put another line right here. And let's just turn it red so we know. So that's our weekly. Now we go to the 4-hour. We want to do the same thing. We want to put our support and resistance. We want to put a support wherever you see the wicks. You see 3 wicks, 1, 2, 3 wicks. We're going to put a line right there. I'm going to turn it black. And anywhere I see the obvious breaks, I'm going to just put a line right there. And this is what I'm doing when I'm looking up trades for everyone. So far we have a green candle. We have it above the blue EMA. We have it above the purple EMA. We have the MOM above 50, but it could be crossing down. And then we have the stochastic is currently overbought, but it's still above the line. And I know we like to figure out, okay, what's going to happen next, but something that I have to practice is to trade what you see, not what you want. So if I'm seeing all these signs for a buy, it's not time for a reversal. If I want this to be a reversal trade, what am I going to do? I'm going to set a sell limit right here, right, y'all? Does a sell limit right here make sense? And a buy limit right here makes sense? If that makes sense, drop a 7 in the chat as to the sell limit at the previous high, right? And a buy limit at the support. And the buy limit make more sense. Why? Because overall, this market is trending up. So we would set our buy limits here, right? Because a buy limit means the price is currently here. Buy limit means price is going to go down and touch this line before it goes back up. So if I was looking at this trade, I would probably set a buy limit down here, right? Where I see these wicks. And then I would set my TP above the previous high, because this trend is going to continue. So if I'm looking at it on a weekly, I may get stuck in the middle. I don't know what to do. But looking at a 4-hour, it gives me more confidence to buy. Now let's look at it on a 1-hour. Okay, on a 1-hour, I see a little bit of resistance. I also see this is facing up. I see this is about to cross down. So that's potential sell vibes. Let's look at it on the 15. So you pretty much just want to keep going down on smaller time frames until you figure out which one literally makes the most sense or which one has the most confirmations. So on my 15, I'm getting resistance here. This is my resistance line from before. I'm getting the cross down, the cross down. On my 30, I'm getting, it's going to turn around. I have a strong wick. I have 1, 2, 3 wicks. On a 1-hour, potential sell. On a 4-hour, yeah, I would literally set a sell limit. I would set a sell limit, and let's actually see how high this is. 109.91. So this is about 100 pips up, right? I would set a sell limit probably in between, because it's going to go up a little more simply because we have all those indicators. But when is it going to come back down? We don't know. So we know it's going to come down, but when? That's why we need the sell limit. So for the first trade idea, I'm going to say, I'm going to just go a few pips up. I don't want to feel How it did last one. All right. And this is literally what I do every time I drop a trade in the chats. I look at where the market currently is. I know it's going to continue to go up because all the indicators say it's going to buy, but I don't want to get stuck in a short-term thing, right? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to set a sell limit. And you guys can take this trade, Euro USD. We're going to do sell limits at 109. We're going to do it at 1.111000. We're going to do stop loss. Let's see how 25 looks with a 101. Oh, sorry, y'all. I should definitely be talking. I really just, I'm so sorry. I forgot for one split second I was teaching. All right, there we go. So the trade idea will look something like that. So pretty much, I'm gonna just zoom up here. Oh, I ain't really zooming too much, but pretty much I use the sell limit, the short position tool. The short position tool lets me know that this is my danger zone, and it lets me know that this is my profit zone. Now the market is currently right here where this dotted line is at 1.09927. Based on our analysis, we know that the market is going to buy, but we also know that based on this crossover happening, based on this being under, I don't really think it's going to buy for too much. So I don't want to set my entry too high above where the market is, but I also want it to be a little bit above where the market is. So I just added about 8 pips. So once the market actually hits this gray line, if you're getting in for a sell limit trade, it should trigger. And yeah, if this market goes all the way up here, I will be shocked. But you can also set a sell limit at 1.1000. And then your stop loss for the first trade would potentially be 1.10300. And then your TP would be 1.094000. So that's your first stop limit trade. But let's just say the trade decides to actually break above, right? And it wants to go all the way up here because that's our previous high, right? So you can set a buy. I'll give you a buy limit too, I guess, just so you don't miss out on anything. So the buy limits, I would say my entry would be like 1.09350. The stop loss would be 1.09100, which is about 25 pips. And then the TP would be 1.09 600 TP. All right, so you guys have 2 potential trade ideas based on where the market could go. Now we can see if you're like a trading the gap type of trader, then you would have noticed that this market gap still has to be filled. You would notice that there's from here, there's a huge gap here, right? So this gap has to be filled. So if you feel more biased to that, if you see these wicks here and you think the market is going to come back down here before it shoots back up and surpasses this, because it will, then you should take the buy limit trade. If you just want to wait and you just want it to sell, you can either get in for a sell in this area, which is the first trade idea, or you can set another sell limit up here, which is about 90 pips from where the market currently is. But because you know this gap has to be filled, it's not impossible for that to happen, you know? So yeah, if you guys have any questions, just drop them in the chat now so I can answer them. But if you guys like the lesson and you feel like it was helpful, just drop some sevens in the chat. So you can drop a question mark if you need me to answer or go over something again, or you can drop a 7 if it makes sense. But I really think that being able to see the bigger picture will help you out for sure, because even just looking at this, if I didn't see the bigger picture, if I was still trading the way that I used to trade, I would have said I'm gonna sell right here, and I'm gonna set my TP right there, and I'm gonna randomly set my stop loss somewhere up here, right? I definitely would have done that, but if I would have zoomed out, I would notice that this is a buying market. So I'm not going to focus on a quick sell when I can focus on a longer buy, if that makes sense. Are we still assigned pairs to analyze? Well, I think this week you guys should tell me which pair you want to analyze, and I will just hold you accountable to that. I'm going to be doing Euro USD. I'm going to be doing full chart analysis, focusing on reversals. I'm also going to be doing GJ. No, it's okay. If you want to do Euro USD sales, you definitely can. I'm just saying I'm gonna do what I always do. Cause yeah. Okay, Spicy gonna do the same pair. So that's BTC and CAD JPY, Spicy. Okay, so everybody's pretty much keeping the same thing. Teresa, I know you like to do different stuff, like whatever works for you. So you can just let me know later. Or you could drop it in the chat which pair you want to focus on. And Keisha, you can pair up with Keela, and y'all can be each other's accountability partners for the week. So Raquel, I'll be your accountability partner. Spicy, I can also be your accountability partner. And Teresa, okay, good. So Teresa, if you don't have a pair, like if you're not doing GU or AU, you can pair with Spicy if you are comfortable with that, unless you just want to do your own thing. So you'll be doing CAD, JPY, and Bitcoin if you want. So yeah, I'm going to stop sharing this, and no additional questions. If we are all good, just go ahead and drop some thumbs up in the chat. I'll stop this recording. Again, I'll make sure that I post it within 24 hours if I don't forget. Yeah. All right, awesome. Awesome. All right, so you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday night, and I will see you in the chats. You're welcome, and good night.